Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thanks as well to Natural Resources Committee Chairman Hastings, who has served so well and so honorably in this chamber. His absence will be missed as he retires. And of course, Ranking Member DeFazio, and to Chairman Young, who I had the good fortune to initially serve in this chamber about 40 years ago. And Ranking Member Hanabusa of the Subcommittee on Indian and Alaskan Native Affairs for their support of this bill. And I also want to thank the staff for their work and their diligent efforts on this legislation. Mr. Speaker, in simple terms, this bill corrects a technical mistake in existing law, thereby allowing members of the Grand Portage Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa to exclude up to $2,000 in payments from the state of Minnesota for their taxable income. By way of background, in 1988, the Grand Portage Band and the Boys Fort Band of Chippewa entered into an agreement by which they would relinquish certain harvest rights and privileges accorded under the Treaty of 1854 in return for annual per capita payments from the state of Minnesota. In the year 2000, Congress passed the Omnibus Indian Advancement Act, which stipulated that a portion of these per capita payments should not count as income for the band members. The problem was the legislative language included only the Boys Fort Band. The Grand Portage Band was inadvertently, accidentally left out. And as a result, many members of the Grand Portage Band have been denied financial assistance and other benefits they are entitled to because of their income appears higher than the law permits. So this bill simply corrects the mistake by amending the Act of October 9, 1973, to allow members of the Grand Portage Band to exclude up to $2,000 in per capita income payments from the state of Minnesota from their taxable income. It's the correct and the fair thing to do. Let me also point out, Mr. Speaker, that this bill marks another step toward restoring the letter and the spirit of the 1854 treaty between the federal government and the Chippewa of Lake Superior, a treaty marked by serious violations from the very beginning as the waves of settlers were permitted onto the lands the agreement reserved for the Indians in perpetuity. I often point to my colleagues that the bust of Chief Buffalo of La Pointe greets them, or greets us, as we enter into the House chamber from the West Front. Chief Buffalo was recognized as the head chief of the Greater Chippewa Nation, and at the age of 92 years of age, he led a tribal delegation to Washington to meet with President Fillmore and paved the way for the Treaty of 1854 to stop the removal of Lake Superior Chippewas from their native homes. It was quite a trip. They left Wisconsin's Madeline Island by birch bark canoe, mind you, 92-year-old man, traveling all the way to Sault Ste. Marie. From there, they took a steamer bound for Detroit, and then on by steamer to Buffalo, New York. Then the railroad took them to Albany, New York, where they boarded another steamboat to New York, and finally back onto the train to Washington, D.C., where they made their case to the President of the United States. So in asking my colleagues to support this bill, I asked them to also remember Chief Buffalo and the diligence and the long, hard work and the long and difficult trail that is so often required to do the right thing when we are representing people that we've been, in our case, elected to represent. It's a good lesson in point in a time in life where we have a kind of a fast food mentality and everybody's expecting things to happen now. The voyage, the extraordinary effort that Chief Buffalo made is a lesson to us all. So here we are 160 years later, still trying to fulfill the results of that important mission that he made. This legislation to restore a small piece of a larger trust relationship is part of that journey. Mr. Speaker, I urge passage of this bill, and I thank my colleagues for their bipartisan support. Mr.